Okay, great. I think we have enough people to go ahead and get started. So to start, I'm Emily. I'm an agent product manager here at Conduit, and we're going to dive into our AI weekly webinar. Before we start, I'm just going to put a link in the chat. This is a link to our school community. I highly recommend going to school because in a couple of weeks, we're going to move our webinars from Zoom to school. Additionally, on school, that's like your best resource to get product help, learn more about like the different features that Conduit has, as well as being able to connect with other Conduit builders and being able to share workflows. So I'll I'll talk more about school like later on, but yeah, this is the link. I highly recommend joining our school community and making a post in there as well. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. Today, we're going to go over some new tools that we have available for Conduit. We've made a lot of changes in the past couple of weeks in terms of AI tools, so I'm just going to go over all those changes, as well as how you can implement them into your workspace and use them for your guest conversations. Share my screen. Okay. So to start, first, I'm in my test account workspace. And if you've been in Conduit recently, you've probably seen that there's a new tab called AI Tools. So tools are going to live in 3 different places. The first one is AI Tools, which is our newest tab. These tools are able to be accessed by both your voice and chat agents, but we'll just dive into the tools right now first. So you can, of course, make your own custom tools. So if you have coding experience, what you can do, or Python experience, what you can do is make your own custom tool here. Just give it a name, description, and what exactly the tool is used for. But not everyone can code, not everyone can make a custom tool themselves, which we completely understand, which is why in Conduit, we allow you to be able to have internal tools right out of the box. For these internal tools, first, for these internal tools, you can just see which ones are available. So we have the search listing availability, search reservations, get directions, search internet, and Google Place recommendations. And I'll provide like an overview of just generally how these works. So for search listing availability, when you click into it, what the description says is it's connected to your PMS system. And when a guest or when a inquiry comes in that says, hey, I'm interested in staying at one of your listings, what this internal tool will do is it's going to go into your PMS system, see if that listing is available. And if it is, then we're going to check. For execution message description, this is automatically programmed for you, but when you're running an internal tool, it's going to take a long time to run essentially. So we want to make sure that the guest knows, especially on the phone, that, hey, someone's like on it, someone is looking. So if you are listening to call transcripts and you hear, one moment, let me do that for you, you'll know that the AI is accessing one of these tools. This is universal for all of our tools, but you can enable which agents have access to these tools. So for instance, mine, I have 2 different inboxes for chat. I have a guest agent and a hotel staff agent. I can enable or disable it for my guest agent or enable and disable it for my hotel staff. And this also works for your phone as well. So for instance, if this phone number is used for guests, whereas this one is used for maintenance and this one is used for inquiries, you can enable or disable these as well right here. And this allows you to be able to have full control over which AI agents have access to you'll have access to over which AI agents have control or have the availability to look at the search availability tool. The same can be said for search reservations. So search reservations is different because instead of searching like, oh, is the actual property available? This is actually looking and fetching detailed information about the contact. So let's say a guest calls and they want to know like when their check-in date is, or they want to know more details about the reservation. This is what you would use. You would use the search reservation tool so that you can actually see, okay, this is a guest, this is their first and last name, here's a reservation confirmation number. and this is the listing they're staying in. And the AI is able to provide all this information to the guest. Again, you can see which agents have access, so which voice and chat agents. And one thing to note, especially for search reservations, since this is for the guest agent or like the hotel staff agent, we have a contact-based inbox here at Conduit. So when someone makes the phone call, they'll have to have the exact same phone number that's associated to that reservation. And that's how we essentially connect the person calling in to the actual reservation. So if it's maybe like it's a couple and like the partner is the one who made the reservation, but someone else is making the phone call, we won't be able to map those, we won't be able to provide the reservation details yet, but we're working on how we can connect those during the call. If they call, hang up, we have a way that after that call is completed, we can map that contact to like either the guest agent to the reservation, and you'll be able to get that information that way. Okay, gonna go look at the questions. Okay. Okay, here's the link to the school. Okay, Rod Ross has a question. Okay, can you create a tool that notifies you when a call is received, which you can then assign to a specific phone number that is attached to a listing? The goal is to develop a system where when an incoming call is received through a phone number managed by an AI, that the AI number is automatically linked to a specific listing. For example, when creating a Google business account. Okay, for example, when creating a Google business account, a phone number is published on the public business profile. The idea is when someone calls that number, the AI answers the call, identifies the associated listing, and assists the caller in completing a booking. In short, each phone number should be connected to a particular listing so that the AI can handle calls, provide property information, and guide guests throughout the reservation process. Yeah, that's already how that wouldn't be a tool, that would just be how like the phone actually works. So if someone calls using, let's say you have like this number publicly available, or you have a different number publicly available, if you connect your AI, the AI can create and manage the listings or manage, create or manage the listings or the reservations. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, moving on to the other tools. So I think it's actually better to see these in action. So these are get directions, search internet, Google Place recommendations. Let's say you're in a chat, or let's say you're talking to a guest and they ask, where is the nearest zoo? Here, the AI is going to take some time to think because it actually needs to retrieve the tool and get this information from like the actual internet. And then when you're able to, once it's done thinking, then we can see, okay, did it retrieve the tool and was it able to like provide like the actual like thing that is near the listing? Okay, I have a rule. Okay, so rule 14 forbids. Okay, well, if this works, this one doesn't work because I have a specific rule in place. But what this does is this uses the Google Place recommendations tool. And what this will do is it actually goes to Google, searches recommendations, and provides like what is the nearest thing. So for instance, I was asking for the nearest zoo here. You want to make sure that you don't have any rules in place that are not allowing the recommendations. But I'll actually go into more of the how these work. So yeah, get directions. This is for get directions. These are more for like concrete locations. And if you know there's like somewhere that is near the property. For instance, some of our customers, they have properties that are near Disneyland, or they are near like a specific supermarket. When a guest asks, hey, where is the nearest supermarket, or how far am I to Disneyland? The get directions tool will run and it'll provide like the exact like mile, like the mile or the like kilometers to like Disneyland or to the supermarket. And then it'll provide also like the time, like, oh, this is 15 minutes away or this is 5 minutes away. Search internet, this has always been available. So search internet, it uses just, if the information isn't available in the knowledge base, you can use search internet to be able to like search the internet for like recommendations as well, or also like asking for the weather or area information. So these are where your tools generally live, and you can select their access here. Another way that you can select access is actually by going into your agents. So by going into chat agent, your actual agent. So I have a guest agent here. I'm going to go into tools, and here's where I can actually enable which tools my AI will have access to. So if you don't want the AI to have access to be able to search for information on the internet, you can disable this here. Or if you want, or if you don't want them to suggest alternative listing to customers, you only want them to stay at like the listing that they originally booked, or you have different specifications, you can enable or disable them here. We recommend that you do enable these just so that if the AI does receive a question and it can answer and it can search the internet and get that response, you can search for it here. Also, once you create custom tools, your custom tools will be here as well. I don't have any, but they would also be in here as well. The same thing can be for voice agents. So since I have 3 different phone numbers, you'll have to go in and actually enable the different agents or the different tools for each specific number. And this is also helpful because let's say you want your guest agent to have access to the internet, but you don't want your maintenance staff to have access to the internet because they don't need it. What you can do is under agent, where is it? Let me find it. Oh, okay, under tools, you'll be able to enable and disable them here. So again, like I mentioned, search of listing availability, search reservations, get directions, searching the internet, and then Google Places recommendations. So highly recommend that after this webinar, you can go in and actually see which tools do I want enabled for my agents. And if you want, you can just you can disable them. Okay. Would checking a property's clean status in Easy Care be a tool? For example, was a unit cleaned or cleaned and cleaned plus inspected? Yeah, that could be a tool. That would be like a custom tool to actually go in and see, oh, is this like, if you have like a different integration, if you have a different software, that would be a custom tool. So check in Easy Care if a unit is cleaned and inspected. That would have to be custom and would involve some coding, but you can just create the custom tool here. Okay. And then you can provide a description and what is the actual execution message for that description. Okay. Okay. I've not been able to create it. I tried to do a test with the option to call the AI, and it always asks me which country I have in mind and if I have dates, but it doesn't really tell me exactly the listing that I want. Uh, yeah, that wouldn't be a tool, but I'll send a link to also just schedule a call with me for that specific use case, but that isn't really a tool. Tools, I think, are more of like searching the internet, searching things that are outside of Conduit to get information. So that's like separate integrations, searching Google, getting like directions from the map. All those informations aren't in Conduit. Let's say we have a procedure now, and we specifically want to have a procedure that calls on a tool. So let's say I want to make a procedure called like provide nearest, like provide nearest supermarket directions. So there's 2 ways that you can actually integrate the procedure and the tool. So first off, tools are always running. If a procedure like says, like, hey, can you locate this? Can you get me the reservation details? Can you provide something like that involves the internet? The AI will automatically have access to the tools if they were enabled, but if you want to be super specific and actually call the actual tool, what you would do is just type use. And we also added this new feature called add a variable. And you can look through these internal tools and see, oh, okay, like which ones do I want? Do I want to do Google Places recommendations, search internet, get directions for this one? If I want to provide the directions to the nearest supermarket, I would actually use get directions. An additional, and what this will do is first it will go through all these procedures. These procedures will automatically call internal tool, but if you want to, just in case, you can use the actual internal tool. Another feature that we have is actually the get recommendations tool. So for for Google Places recommendation, how this tool actually works once you put it into production is it will not only just provide the recommendations, for instance, if it's asking for nearest restaurant in the area or nearest grocery store as well, it will provide both the recommendation for like the 3 nearest supermarkets, restaurants in the area, and it will also provide the directions. So if you want to use both sending the recommendation and the directions, I would use Google Places recommendation. You don't have to do like Google recommendation and then get directions to the restaurant. But yeah, this is a great way to integrate both procedures with your actual tool. So you can call these variables here, you can call internal tools. If you make custom tools as well, then you can add the custom tools will also be populated here. So you don't have to manually type in search listing availability tool and also workflows, but we went over workflows in a previous webinar. The same principle applies also to phone. So for your phone, if you go into agents, voice agents, phone, we have like these general instructions right now. And these instructions are great. Like they are the ones that Conduit provides automatically. But when you want to customize them, let's say you have a booking a stay flow. You're welcoming the caller, you're repeating the dates. We can also add an additional step where we are, again, calling the tool. So here I would do search reservations. So I would say, use the search reservations tool to, actually I would use booking. Use the search listing availability to see if the unit is available. So this just unlocks a lot more potential for what your AI can actually use, because now not only does it have access to your information, like searching the listings, but you can specifically call like, hey, I specifically want you to call this tool, and this kind of eliminates some ambiguity. Sometimes when you're prompting, you're not entirely sure like, oh, like how will I know if this is going to call the search listing availability tool? You can just write it and be very explicit, like use this tool, search it. Instead of like here, the AI might search the listing availability. It might, depending on how you prompt it. But if you just directly say like, use this tool, the AI will for sure know like, I need to search this listing availability tool. And how you can see if it's working is if it's in a chat, you'll see like under sources, you'll see like also the tool that it used. But then for phone, it'll say something like along the lines of whatever you put into the AI tool. So for this example, it would be 1 moment, let me do that for you. So if you are using like an AI phone, or if you are like listening to the transcripts, if it says like 1 moment or like, let me take a look at that, that's how you know that the tool is running. Okay. That's it for tools. Does anyone have any questions either about searching the availability tools, any of the internal tools that we went over here, or the chat agents or voice agents tools? I'm gonna answer some of these questions. Okay. But yeah, highly recommend using these tools. If you, mine is blocked because of this specific listing, but can we connect with external APIs using custom tools? Yeah, you can do that. It would all just be in the custom tool. So create your first tool. Here are all the languages that we support. If you have any parameters as well here, and then we also have a testing suite within our custom tools too. So yeah, you can connect with external APIs. Yeah, highly recommend that when you are using either like the test or like test or chat functions to maybe like ask questions that would prompt these external tools just to see how they would work for yourself. They may take like a little bit of time to load just because we're literally like fetching the data like from the internet. There's like going to be obviously like load time. If you want to cut down on that, I would just recommend adding the information to your listing or to the knowledge base. But of course, you can't add everything. Like for instance, let's say you have like all the restaurants or all the supermarkets in your knowledge base or in your listings, and then someone asks for the zoo. If you don't have the zoo information within your knowledge base, the AI can still respond using the get directions or using the Google Plays recommendations tool. So a really powerful tool that will also cut down on your escalations. For instance, AI needs your help or missing info. If someone is asking again, like, oh, like where is the nearest, like where's Disneyland? If that's not in your knowledge base, instead of getting the escalation AI missing info, you'll just have the AI tool be able to answer that question directly and you won't have to escalate it. But yeah, I'm gonna share, okay. I have the school right here. So I'm gonna put the link one more time. We're gonna be moving our webinars from Zoom to school very soon. So you would just have to go into school, AI automations by Conduit, and then sign in to join a member. We have 146 members. And once you join, you'll be able to access both Conduit University. All of our webinars are uploaded there as well. And you can keep up with what we're doing over here at Conduit. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for attending. Hopefully this helped you learn more about our AI tools, and this will help with responding to customer requests, specifically for things that are like accessing the internet or things that aren't specifically in your knowledge base. But thank you everyone for coming.